Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been over a month since I posted anything, but I'm back with another exciting interview. We all love a bit of mystery in our lives. I personally love reading mystery thrillers, and if it's a murder mystery with a blend of magic, then it's a feast. Today, I have with me one such wide mystery author. She's orthodontist by profession, and her book Mystery Royale was released in Jan this year and is bound to get you hooked. Today, I welcome author Kaitlyn Cavalancia.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for being here as well.
hmm
Uh, could you introduce yourself for the audience and break that little mystery for us?
Sure. Like she said, my name is Kaitlyn Cavalancia. I live in Indiana, Pennsylvania, which is a small town near Pittsburgh. Kind of like if you think of a Hallmark Christmas movie, that's the town I live in. Um, and I'm actually an orthodontist during the day, so I do braces for teens and adults. And then at night, I like to write books for teens. So my YA novel, Mr. Ariel, just came out, and I'm super excited about it and to talk about it.
Great. Without giving too much away, can you give us a brief overview of your book and what readers can expect from the book?
Sure. So it's a YA murder mystery with a fantasy twist. Um, when Xavier Stoutmeyer dies, instead of giving his illusionary magic to his nephew, like he was supposed to, like the entire family thought he would, instead, he invites everyone in his family and two random guests to his house. And they find out that there's a game of Mystery Royale, and whoever can solve his murder will win his magic. And it's got high stakes, it's got an enchanted estate, a magical competition, grumpy sunshine romance, and just really fun.
I just like the hearing about it, interesting just to hear about it.
Yeah.
What exactly made you write this book particularly? What got you into writing?
Yeah. So I think I first started just love reading. When I was little, like I can remember being 9 years old and I had like a box of books. My parents would tell me to go to bed and I would just like have my flashlight reading underneath the covers. And so I've always loved books. And I think when you love books, when you love stories, your own kind of come to you. And I always had like ideas and I would jot them down. But I was always so focused on school. So, to become an orthodontist, I went to 4 years of college, 4 years of dental school, then 2 years of residency. So a very long time. And I just read for, 6 years books on teeth, just on teeth and teeth and teeth. And when I was finally done, I said, you know what? If I don't try now, I'll never try. So it took me a couple books to really figure out the process. But once I started, I found out I loved it. So I kept going. Yeah.
Wow. Can you walk us through your writing process from initial idea to your final draft? Are you a plotter or a pantser?
I think like the in between the plantser. So a little bit of each. I always have the like major plot points. So I do three act structure. So I know like we're gonna go up and then we're gonna go down and I know the points when we hit those marks. But for the first maybe act, I kind of let myself do whatever I want. Whatever comes to me, comes to me. And then after that, I outline because I feel like if I let myself go the whole time, it would be a jumbled mess. But if I outline the second and third acts, it kind of helps with the momentum. And I think with a mystery, especially, you really want to have the clues, the suspects, everything laid out, at an even pace so that the reader wants to keep going. So I would say I'm a bit of both, especially in the beginning, I just kind of go crazy. And then near the end, I outline it all out.
Cool. Mistral is a mix of fantasy as well as mystery. How did you come up with the idea for the book and the genre that you set that in?
Yeah. So the first thing that happened when I wrote this book, and this was the sixth book I wrote, um, I unfortunately had a death in the family. My husband had a death in the family. And for both cases, there was a grieving period, a funeral, but then there was also a will, and it was kind of like a strange thing. Like I never had seen a real will and how that was divided. And there was just like a little bit of tension in the family. And I thought, well, what if you could inherit something, more powerful than money? Like, what if you could inherit magic? And so I had this thought. And then I remember a few weeks later, I woke up like 3 o'clock in the morning and I grabbed my phone and I typed down this like image I had of a girl and her mom who had burned the house down and she told her, run if the strange finds you. And so I had this idea of the strange being magic. And so I had that and I knew I had to weave it with the idea of inheriting magic. And then from there, I kind of just came up with the story and I've always loved mystery books. I've always loved fantasy books. So I said, why can't I just have both?
Wow. Okay. What was the journey of getting your book published? I know it's not really easy for someone to get publishing a book. It's really hard. Like it's a complete different aspect after writing. What was the time
hmm
for you?
Yeah, so it was really hard. I mean, especially like to anyone that's thinking of it, it's hard, but it's possible. So this was the sixth book that I wrote. I would say by the fourth book that I wrote, I started querying agents. So if you want to traditionally publish, you have to go through an agent. And to get an agent, you have to submit your book first with kind of like a sales pitch, what you would see on the back cover, and then, sample pages. And the fourth book I wrote was like a middle grade. And I remember was the first book that agents were responding because before that, no one responded to any of my books. But by the fourth book, they were like interested, and I got someone who said, if you revise and resubmit, and I knew I was getting close. But it kind of just didn't pan out. And I think it would have been easy to just give up at that point. But I said I have to try again. So I wrote another two books. And then this book I queried, and it was really fast. I think my agent maybe offered a revise and resubmit 6 days after I sent it. And he was like, you've done a really good job, but here's 10 pages of notes. And if you can, incorporate this, we'll see how it goes. So I spent 3 months. That's all I did. I just worked on that, sent it in. And I think it was 2 weeks later, he said that he was really impressed and then offered to represent me. And then once he offered, then we did like, I think 6 to 8 months of more revision and then it went out to publishing houses. And it was pretty fast. Like I know that in publishing, it can be really, really slow just because there's a lot of books that editors have to read. But it was, I think 3 months, and it was an offer from Disney for a two-book deal. So I was just ecstatic.
Uh, did you ever give up in the process? Like,
Did I ever want to give up?
yeah, like this,
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, 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 for sure. And I remember that fourth book after I spent all that time revising it. I remember I was sitting across from my husband and I was just crying, so upset because I just poured my heart out. I tried so hard. I've been doing it for years. Um, and he just said, so what? Are you going to let this be the end? He didn't give me a hug or a pat on the back. He said, is this going to be the end? And I was like, no, this is not the end. I have to try again. So definitely there were times, I mean, that I felt discouraged, but I'm glad I stuck with it.
Great. Okay. I think it's time we have a little game for at this interview. So, Tanda,
Okay.
would you rather game, but the author's edition? Okay.
Okay.
Would you rather solve a real life mystery or write one?
Mhm. Oh, geez. I like to think that I'm like brave and exciting enough to solve one, but I think I'd rather write it. That's why I'm writing it. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Would you rather
definitely do
have
it.
your book become a bestseller or win a
Mhm.
prestigious literary award?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. I think because they're both, on there, both have such good aspects. I think I would say a bestseller just because I mean, that would just mean more readers would probably read it. But I would assume if you got the award, it might become a bestseller after. So maybe that was the smarter choice.
Right. Would you rather be able to control your character's action completely or let them develop their own personalities and surprise you with their choices?
Oh, definitely the second one. Let them develop and surprise me. I think that's like part of the magic of writing sometimes is when the characters do something or show you what they're really about, differently than you planned. I think that's part of the fun in finding out when you're writing. So definitely the second.
Would you rather your main character have a mysterious past that they can't remember or a dangerous secret that they're desperately trying to hide?
Ooh, those are both good, and I feel like I've used both of them. I think I think the dangerous secret because I love a secret, especially when you just kind of hint at it and you know it's there and you know it's bad and big and you just want to keep reading to find out. So definitely the dangerous secret.
Would you rather know exactly how your story will end before you start writing or let the
Mhm.
story unfold organically as you write?
I like to know the ending because I think I like to know where I'm headed. I think it makes the revision a lot easier. Um, I definitely always know the ending. It may change a little, but I have the main idea. I think that you can build better twists. Not that you can't if you don't know it, but it's just more streamlined if you do.
That was fun. Okay, let's end this interview with a few more questions. What are your
Okay.
future plans? Are you writing a sequel or another book?
So I just right now on my screen behind you are the line edits for the sequel. So the second book in the series for Mr. Royale will come out on March 3rd of 2026. So right now we're going through like the very long revision process. It's like several rounds of developmental, and then you get to line and copy, and you're just going over every comma and every capital letter. So that's where I'm at right now. And then after that, I have like a few ideas. Started outlining like a kind of loosely dark academia young adult book. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
What's the one thing you wish you knew before you started writing your book?
Hmm. That's a tough one. I think for this book, I wish I just knew more of the character's backstory. I think that I was so excited to get into the plot, get into the story, that that was kind of lacking. And I did build it out and I did fix it. That was a major part of the editing. But I think if I took the time from the beginning and really knew their backstory in depth, I think it would have helped write the story more concise and faster, from the beginning.
Uh, did you ever, what part did you struggle most with? Like, character development or the plots, or what did you struggle most with?
Yeah, I think that character development, is more like nuanced. It's like a bit more subtle. I think I'm like a big plotter. Like I like when there's a big twist. I like when someone's murdered, someone's gonna die. And not that I don't like the character arcs, but I think that it just takes more time, and I'm always anxious to start in the beginning. So for me, I usually have to go back. Like that's something in the second draft that gets more refined for sure.
I have some different question to ask you.
Mhm.
Like to kill leaders' favorite characters.
Of course. That's the best part. You have to kill the favorite characters. But when there's magic involved, no one's ever really dead. There's always the chance they come back, but no, you have to kill the best characters.
You gotta break your
Yeah.
video's heart. Lastly, what advice would you give to other authors who are just starting?
I think the best advice is just write the story that you want to read. Write something you would love to read. I think it's really easy when we see like a lot of these books come out, like, big flashy titles, and we want to try and just like chase a trend or do what's popular. And not that you can't if that's what you really love to read, but if you write something that you really enjoy, um, other people will enjoy it as well. And I wrote this book for my teenage self. Like my mindset was, okay, if I was 15, what would I want to read? And this is what I would want to read. So I think if you keep that in mind, it's really the best advice I think that I can give.
Wonderful. I'm sure that your advice would help a lot of authors out there. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do next.
Thank
I had so
you.
much fun talking to you. Thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.
For people watching, that was Kaitlyn Cavalancia, the author of Mystery Royale. I'll drop the link in the description. Check out her book and keep supporting new authors. And if you like this video, like, comment, and share. Don't forget to follow for more such content. Thank you.